I'm conscious.
Now what?
What's going on? Yeah, what's going on? Yeah. Hold it. He's talking about doctor.
Peace and love, soul group. Peace and love. And welcome to another energy gathering, energy exchange session, episode, show, whatever you want to call it. We're here and it feels good. It feels good. Let's start this energy gathering session off, whether you're live. This way we can, let the souls that's going to join us live today here on I'm Conscious Now What, give you time to get in here. And I made the decision, at least for now, because I'm so spontaneous at how I do certain things. I'm getting out of so many, life loops and patterns that, we just habitually do, unconsciously or consciously, And I've been noticing when I post our I'm Conscious Now What links in a few of the groups that I'm involved with, the energy gets weird, and it so I just made the decision not to post the links in a lot of the groups that I'm in anymore, because I'm getting like this bleed through from Facebook, or this bullshit energy from Facebook. They've been watching me for a long time. I got inboxes. I got locked out of some of my groups. So, I'm not very popular on Facebook. So I just spontaneous go to YouTube now and just hit that button. So I appreciate those of you who have hit the bell icon on the home page if I'm Conscious Now What. And this way you'll be notified when we decide to go live and exchange energy. Now, before I get into today's energy exchange, I just want to give those of you who do not get the time or can't find the time, as you put it, to just center and start fresh, in mind and spirit, in your body, and I do this 15 to 20, sometimes 30 times a day. I'll center to just start over, and so I want to allow you the time right now here on this show so we can come together and we could blow out all of the thoughts, emotions, attachments, circumstances, situations that no longer serve us, that we're carrying right now, consciously or unconsciously. Okay. And the great attribute for me, at least for centering, is it allows me to view all of these thoughts and energy fields that are sitting, to translate it in English, sitting inside of me. Some which are mine and some aren't. It lets me, sort out my thoughts, the thoughts that serve me, the thoughts that are, in alignment to what I'm trying to achieve with my will and my desire and my focus. And, and then there's just thoughts that are just sitting there, basically like, you thought this, what do you want us to do? They just sit there. And the longer they sit there, they begin to wear you down vibration wise. Okay, I got a lot to talk about today. And but let's get centered. Let's get centered. And then, I'll be able to know what will benefit us, those of you who agreed to hit that play button and exchange energy with us today. And I'm going to open up the phones again on Sunday. I did it Wednesday, but no one was led to call in. This is our platform, and the reason why I keep this platform going, is to give those who don't have a platform of their own a chance to call in and express yourself and connect to like-minded souls in our little group that we created to, exchange energy, exchange frequencies, exchange ideas, exchange downloads to be a part of something so you don't feel so isolated. I know when you start walking in your multi-beingness, that individual that you are, sometimes we isolate as we try to figure out these new abilities that we're developing and experiencing. And so it's kind of like I don't want to say natural, but we isolate. I hear this a lot. We just isolate. And I keep this platform open. I keep the chat open. We don't have bossy moderators. I kind of try to keep it organic because, that's what's out here in the quote unquote awakening state, the real world, So that's why we keep it open. So let's just do something real short, real simple. Okay. Let's just take three deep inhales. And when we take these inhales, what we're doing is, we're breathing in that, I like to call it that breath of what we call life here in 4D or 5D or 6D, wherever you are. It's the breath of life. And this breath is what sustains our avatar that we're navigating in, right? It is the fuel. Okay. So if we were a vehicle, I guess we'll be cleaning out our fuel lines, right? To get some fresh energy, some fresh fuel into our avatars, right? To open up our consciousness, right? So we can be, on point. Okay. Now, when we take in these deep breaths, all I want you to focus on, if you're willing, you can focus on whatever you want. But if you want to join us in this unity thing, is just the breath. Let's just narrow it down and keep it simple. Let's just focus on the breath and try to feel, right? And with your brow chakra, feel and observe what this breath of life is adding to your being on each breath. And as you blow out, anything that is heavy, and we're all experiencing different things. That's what's so amazing about this thing called life. We're all connected to source, but we're all, from our perspective and our perception, we're all experiencing different things all over the globe. So things that no longer serve you, visualize them leaving your being in the out breath. Okay, we're going to do this 3 times to make sure we can get as much of this surface thoughts or surface, I like to call it fuzz or buzz because it's energy that's just sitting there. Okay. And if you observe something that, because you will a lot of times, if you observe something that's not yours, and you'll be like, how the fuck did this get here? What is this? Or how did this just pop up in my mind? Send it back to the energy source of where it came. And you can easily do this by saying, I send this back to the original energy source from which it came. And I accept my energy, just in case you exchange energy with someone unknowingly. We do it all day on the internet and in the walking state. Accept your energy back. And then you could, cleanse that energy a little later. Okay. So now we got kind of a bird's eye view of why I center as many times as needed to get in a space where I am centered and focused. All right. So let's start with the first breath. Okay. Some of you are done already, but let's start. Now, it doesn't matter. In my case, I know there's a lot of different breathing techniques. It doesn't matter if you're breathing in through your mouth or your nose for this type of centering. Okay. So whatever you choose is okay. All right. All right. Here we go. The first breath. Yeah, I just blew out a lot of shh just on that first one. Second breath. And the third breath. Deep. Go deep. And right when you get to the point where you can't take in any more air, take in a little more prana to expand your diaphragm. Okay? Last breath. That's right. Just let go. Let go of all attachments. Let go of all unwanted desires, temptations. Let go of all worries, disturbances, erratic thoughts. And just sit in this space that we're going to create collectively as a soul group. And in this space, from my point of view, there's a lot going on, but it's cool. There's a lot going on as you and our soul group are trying to find your space in this space. There's a lot going on now, but it's cool, right? It's cool. We're all here. We're all over this globe. We're all over. And I see energy just moving. You guys are amazing. I told you last week how amazing you are. Even in your lower vibrations, you are still amazing beings. As we just lock or log on to this unity consciousness and become one in frequency and vibration. So I'm centered. I'm a little bubbly. Somebody's real silly in here. Somebody's playing around. It's cool though. It's cool. I love you. Someone is moving a lot of energy right now. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. And I do this for us, you know. I wanted to be here. And today is 11/12/2017. Yesterday was 11/11, and I had amazing some amazing things that took me to a higher level happened yesterday on my 11/11. And so I'm just going to take this time just to talk about some of those things, and I know some of you will pull and download some of this information because it sure helped me. And what I've been playing with lately, and I'm having a lot of fun playing with this, and it can be, I'll just use the word uncomfortable at first until you really figure out what you're getting from playing in this energy. So I'll give you an example, and I know my soulmate won't mind me talking about this. We're kind of like an open book. So here's my beautiful soulmate, my wife. Yesterday, out of nowhere, I walked into her energy field. What do I mean by that? If she's in the kitchen and I'm in like my office here and I walk into the kitchen, right? I'm walking into her energy field. We are like merging energy. She can feel me and I can feel her. And no matter how much she tries to mask or hide or play it off like everything is cool, right? I know I can feel it, and vice versa. She can feel me. And if you're with someone and you guys are used to each other's energy, you love each other's energy, you'll find yourself a lot saying, "What's wrong, honey? Are you okay?" And they'll ask you, "Is everything okay?" Because you can feel it. You can just feel it. And the more you sit in their energy, you'll know when they're centered. You'll know when they don't have blockages or they don't have heavy thoughts. So I walked into the kitchen yesterday, and she was on the verge of just exploding. I mean, she was so backed up, energy constipation. I mean, she out of nowhere, and it was 11:11, and I was aware of that, And so I said, honey, are you okay? And she tried to, bullshit me. Oh, yes, yeah, I'm okay. I'm like, come on, honey. And she looked at me again, and she knew I wasn't, I know, I can feel it. And man, she just let go, man. Wow. Like a waterfall. She just let go. Boom. She started crying. Boom, out of nowhere. And so I'm like, now I got like the deer in the head, like, look, like, what the fuck? Right? And she cried. So I had to run over there and I just grabbed her and I just held her. Right? And so by doing this, I've always had this ability, right? But now I'm focused on this ability. I wanted to know why she was crying. So why I was holding her, right? I won't tell you how I don't feel led to tell you how I do this. Not over the internet like this, because there's a polarity to this, but I made a duplicate variation of her energy field based on how it feels to me. I duplicated her and I became her energy. Okay. So I'm sitting in her energy from my perspective and I'm just going through it. Of course, she gave me permission to do this. This is my soulmate. I wouldn't violate someone and just do this without their consent. It's because you're actually duplicating their energy and like becoming it in retrospect, and I'm not as advanced as some of the souls out here that's been doing this for a long time, but some people don't like that shit. Some people will block you and, blackball you when you duplicate them. And, it's a lot of shit out here, but I did this and I sat in her energy as I was holding her and we connected and I took on her sorrows, her fears. And I saw from her perspective what she was dealing with. And it was weird because it wasn't anything on the outside. It wasn't any outside forces. It wasn't anyone else's energy. It was just her energy. And she was struggling with this illusion of lack, that she wasn't meeting the expectations that she placed on herself. And the reason why I'm sharing this is because I went through this. Different scenario, different situations, but I was like this with my music, my passion for music. And I do make beautiful music, but it's never good enough for me. And so what do? I have over 1,000 songs that I've composed and written. And I just don't do shit with them because they never make my cut. You understand? You know anybody like that? They're brilliant beings. Some people paint, some people sing. We got all of these gifts, but shit is never good enough for us. It never makes our cuts. You hear this a lot from artists and entertainers. You know what I mean? How do you like it's okay. It's never good enough for us. Okay. And this is what my soulmate was dealing with. And so as I just held her, and this is the great, those of you who are younger star seeds, no, I can't even say that because you guys and girls are coming in with this. I would say you're more, a lot of you are more connected to your divine feminine energy in you that you got from your mom, and you got the divine masculine from your dad. So a lot of you can go there, and a lot of you can hold women and console them, and if necessary, cry with them, to let them know that you're there, but you have to be in tune with who you are. This is not a cocky thing or I'm too tough to do this. This is necessary, especially, when your soulmate or someone you love or even a stranger is that vulnerable. That's a very vulnerable moment that you have to capture with them, right? That's how you grow together with anyone. That's true friendship, to catch somebody when they're very, very vulnerable and embrace that that moment or that energy or that particular, I don't know the words, I'm not a poet with words, but to just be there. That's how you be there. You feel what they're going through without judging it, you know? And so let me just get to the meat and potatoes of it. So, this went on for about 15 minutes. I just held her, let her cry. The shirt was all wet. Now, here's the important part. All right. You cannot go into the pity party with them. All right. You let them release it. You let them cry. Right. But when that moment is over and you'll know, okay, because you'll separate and then you'll make the eye contact. Right. You're looking them right in their eye. Right. And then that's when you have to take control. Right. Why? Because this energy that you duplicated or this energy that you're sitting in is their energy. And it might not, you're not bound by that energy or that situation or that event. You're simply observing, right? Sometimes it can feel a little weird because you're actually experiencing the energy that has them bound at that time. It can feel kind of crazy, but you're not bound by it. You're just observing. You know what I mean? It might not even affect you in any cause. And sometimes we have to be very, very careful because we'll even judge them like, is this all that's fucking bother? You guys know what I'm saying? I'm just talking some real now. You'll even want to judge people in these situations, but you can't. You can't because we're all different and we all have different triggers and we all sit in and we all experience energy different. You see what I'm saying? So immediately when we started to separate, not energy wise, but physically wise, that hug, we were separating, I instantly had to get her eyes to connect with me, right? I had to get her from, going bananas in emotional body out there, out of alignment. We went on a nice little ride, like a roller coaster ride of emotion, right? And pain and hurt, and we felt it all, right? And immediately after, this is so important, now we have to center. See, that's the key to this. That's the key to this mental battle. It's just the center after this, right? Most people would just keep riding that roller coaster all day, and you'll hear them say, oh, the day was so fucked up, I had a horrible day, because you stayed on the roller coaster all damn day. Right? It's like going to the amusement park and riding the roller coaster all damn day. Yeah, you're going to be sick, right? So immediately after we get off the roller coaster, we'll just call it that today, of emotion, of letdown, don't let the pity party show up. How do you stop the pity party? By taking control, connecting the brow chakra, connecting. So I told her, look into my eyes, look at me. And sometimes you have to take control. This is where, it's not like when I say masculine energy, it's like a alpha energy. Someone has to connect to, when you're connecting in energy, you're connecting to their energy or they're connecting to your energy. It's agreement. It's an agreement, but someone has to, you get what I'm saying? Initiate it. So I remember telling her, look into my eyes like I meant it. And she looked into my eyes and we connected. And then I began to have her breathe. Let's breathe. And the breathing went on, okay? And once we got the breathing going, we started to blow out together things that no longer served us. And I began to ask her, what was she seeing? What are you experiencing, right? And this is how we got to the core essence of what was really setting her off. And we can laugh about it now, but it was her weight. It was, my wife has been on this this program that she started. By the way, my wife has an amazing body. I mean, this is what I mean by you have to, you can't judge people for what bothers them. She's not overweight. But I mean, what she calls fat, I would take any day. But women particular are, very emotional about their bodies, especially with the internet and, you're viewing all of this plastic surgery shit and all of this fix it flat in the ass shit. And you know what I'm saying? And when you get caught up in that, You start judging what you have because you're looking at this illusion of what a body is supposed to look at. So she was telling me that she had been working out for 6 months, and she just wasn't happy with the results that she was getting. And I'm looking at it, my wife got a 4-pack, and amazing legs, beautiful skin, no fat, no cellulite anywhere. So I'm like, okay, I understand, honey. And why do you feel? I just feel like I should be further, And so here's the meat and potatoes of this, right? This is the gift that if you want to call it a gift, we all have this. It's just a matter of leading people into what they want to be instead of having a pity party and trying to do it physically. I want you guys to understand this. All creation, everything that you will and desire in 4th, 5th, 3rd density here, it starts with thought. Okay, so I knew that my wife was stuck in this emotional energy because she kept viewing and attracting this body that wasn't attractive to her. You guys get what I'm saying? She kept seeing this body, the reflection of her body in the mirror, and she wasn't liking the reflection that she was seeing. But now this reflection can't be fixed by looking at it in a mirror and complaining about it and getting upset and crying, right? What happens is you just get more of what you're seeing. You are literally attracting what you don't want. Okay. And a lot of us do this. A lot of us do this in the beginning. Me, not no more, because I understand that everything starts in the non-physical. So what we did to get over this, right? Number one, I had to sit in that energy with her. I had to let her go through exactly what it was so I could get to the core of what was bothering her. You got to get that shit out, and you have to do it strategically and non-forcefully, but we have to get to it. We can't BS this. So what we did after I found out what was wrong, I understand that if she wants this particular body, that she has to create it in her mind first. She has to see the body that she wills and desires in her mind first. You have to visualize it. You have to become it. You have to see it. You have to touch it. You have to believe it. And then you become it. And then you look through this mental body, through the eyes of this mental body. Now, how do you do that? It's by transferring your awareness into this new body that you created in your, I'll just say, imagination, not the watered down imagination, but I'll just use that so you'll know what I'm saying. And so that's what we did. I simply asked her to visualize the body that you want, that will sustain you, that will make you happy. Visualize that body right now. Take all the time that you need. And if some of you have been going through something similar to this, it doesn't have to be weight loss. It could be anything that you think you lack. Right at this time and moment, I want you to visualize, right? Whatever it is that you want. You have to see it mentally first. See it in your mind. And if you have a lot of distractions around you, close your eyes or go to your secret space. We've been talking about this for a year, but now it's time to start implementing a lot of these things, because now we're in some times where manifestations are happening like instantly, whether they're from your perception of good and bad. You know what I mean? What do I mean by that? In your perception, bad things is popping up just as fast as good things, because, and I say this all the time, it's not new energy. A lot of people say, oh, we're sitting in this. No, it's not new energy. It's not. The energy has always been here. You know what I mean? Picture the energy. I say this a lot. Picture the energy like a old radio that has those dials, that dial that you turn and you see all of those little lines that represent frequencies or radio stations. All of those lines are live and active now. It's just maybe your favorite radio station is in one spot and you never turn the fucking dial. Okay. And then you just decide to turn the dial, and now a new frequency or radio station bleeds through, right? You're like, wow, I like this music too. It's always been there. Okay, we're just getting access from the shift of consciousness on Gaia, Mother Earth. Everything is rising. So we're getting access to higher vibrations. And those of us who, you know, take the time to develop as multidimensional beings in the illusion of time, we have great advantages of taking advantage of this energy shift. And those of us who don't take the time to put into our true self, to sit with ourselves and learn who we are and nurture who we are and fall in love with this multidimensional, what did the world call us? Schizophrenic, or, you know, whatever they say. It's cool, but I love myself. I love me. I love this new me, that I have the ability to think at the speed of thought. I don't have to just sit and think of one thing or be in one program. I can download a lot of shit. You know, I'm not hurting anyone. I'm leading in love. I'm not violating the free will of other people, right? So now you visualize what it is that you want. You visualize, you close your eyes. My wife closed her eyes and she visualized the body that she wanted, and something magical. This is magic. This is magic. Do you hear me, Soul Group? This is magic. Soon as she saw it, her frequency, her energy instantly changed. And we were no longer sitting in that sporadic, emotional, hurtful, disappointing, let downing energy that we were in. It just changed. It was magic, like abracadabra, poof, because she saw in her mental, her real, who she is, the core essence of who she is, in mentalism, this body. And she began to smile. And I remember her saying, wow, wow, wow. And I let her do that for a while because I wanted her to feel this is what she was willing and desiring, right? But it wasn't fucking showing up in the physical realm. And for some reason, we have this mindset that if it doesn't show up here, then it doesn't exist, right? And this is why it's so important to do these exercises and implement these things that we talk about so freely on this platform and all the other platforms. Because what happens is, it's kind of like church. You go to church, you hear a good word. Remember the child was born in Christian family. We would go to church. We would be on fucking fire on Sunday. Man, dancing around, screaming. And as soon as we walk out of the church, we're not implementing anything. Monday through Saturday, right? And so she said, wow, wow, wow. And I let her do that. Wow, wow. And then I began to channel what she was seeing, because now she can see it, right? Now I got to get her to speak it into this reality. So I simply said, what do you see? And she said, I see this beautiful, beautiful lady. Oh, she's so beautiful. Never mind the dogs. We ain't gonna let them. Never mind the dogs. We'll let them bark. We'll let them bark. We'll let it pass. Okay. We'll let it pass. All right. She just came in. That's my wife coming in. So they greet her in a certain way. And I said, what did you see? And she said, I see this beautiful, beautiful lady. She got the most beautiful, I think it was an afro. She was trying to, beautiful hair. It's just so transparent in the light. And it was the most important question, how I connected her awareness to what she was seeing. I asked her, who is this lady that you see? Who is it? And she just was breathing and got excited. She said, it's me. It's me. And then I asked her several questions that just completed this process, and her awareness shifts from the physical, where we are now, into the non-physical. And she started to look through the eyes of this non-physical creation that she created. And man, I'm telling you, it was a beautiful space that we created together. And instantly, there was a change in vibration, emotion. It was beautiful. It was beautiful, ladies and gentlemen. But in order to get there, we had to sit in an energy until that energy no longer served us. Now, how do you know when energy no longer serves you? This is very easy. Okay. You feel bad about it. All right. You feel bad about it. And the only reason why you continue to do it because you develop these habitual life loops is what I call them. You're just used to doing it. Give you the perfect example. Going to work every day, punching that clock for money. A lot of us, I know I hated it. And I don't like to use that word hate, but man, I'm telling you, I hate it. Oh, getting up, going to work. And one of the ones that I hated it, but I knew I had to do it because I'm in the matrix and I had to have that money. You guys know what I'm saying? If I didn't have that money in my mind, it was just going to make things worse. Instead of me saying, I'm not doing this anymore because I hate it, I'm going to find something that I love to do. And until the money stops flowing, I'll just have to deal with that. You know what I mean? And so we have to learn how to sit in these energy fields until they no longer serve us. And this could be very, let me change how I say this. You could perceive this as being very, very painful, right? Because it doesn't have to be. You know, in my case, in the example of me and my wife, it wasn't very, very painful for me. And I was sitting in the same energy that she was sitting in. I duplicated it based on what she was giving me. I can make a copy of it and sit in it and claim it as my own. All right. And but it wasn't painful for me. It was just weird, you know, because I couldn't see why this energy was affecting her that way. You understand what I'm saying? Right. But it was a major issue to her. And this is what we have to be sensitive about in ourselves and other souls that are going through things. You guys know what I mean? Just because it doesn't PHUCK with you doesn't mean it can't PHUCK with them. Don't judge it. Assist. All right. So I hope, and I don't like to use hope. I don't. So I'll just blow that shit out. I know that this example, very simple example of a life situation that we went through yesterday, and that was just one. There were a lot of things that I experienced on 11/11 that I took and used to raise my vibration. Now, here's one that was very, very painful for me to sit in until it no longer served me. And I'm sharing this because there's someone that needs to hear this. Okay. Now, what we're going to touch on real fast is family, what we perceive as family in 3 density. Okay. Family. All right. So we got, with this new energy coming through, with the access, and look, I'm even saying this shit now, right? With the access of this energy that we're all tapping into, a lot of personalities, a lot of auras, a lot of avatars, a lot of emotional bodies are just shifting out of alignment. And one thing that I had to learn is the people or the avatars or the energy that could hurt me the most would come from my family. Has anybody experienced this yet? Right? It's the family, right? You guys and the people that call in and prank and the nasty things people say on social media has no merit on my frequency. Some of it is hilarious to me. You know what I mean? I laugh about it, you know, because It's artificial intelligence. It's people pushing buttons trying to get a response off of me to siphon some energy. I understand the energy exchange game. I really do. People do things to harness your energy, to get you emotional about something. And as soon as you let that energy go, they get off to it. Right. So, but I had to realize, like, damn, the people who really throw me out of alignment the quickest and the fastest and really hurt me are my family. People that's in this this inner circle that we developed, that we were taught. I'm not saying that this is a good or a bad thing. I'm telling you, this is what we're experiencing as soul groups. We're being hurt by our family members because they're the closest to us in this incarnation. We easily get hurt. We easily get out of alignment. We easily, go there. You guys know what I'm saying? We go there with our family members because they're the closest to us. You know what I mean? And so I'm just going to share something that I experienced yesterday that really raised my vibration, and I had to sit in this energy a long time until it no longer served me, meaning I didn't get anything from it. It didn't hurt anymore. I just sat in it. And some people would disagree with this method. This is just a method that I choose to use so I can experience what other people experience and know why they do and say the things they say, or to make it simpler, to understand why they react the way they react to certain circumstances, thoughts, and events, because we all react different to different energies. And so without going into too much detail, because this is the internet and I do respect the privacy. Everybody don't want that shit on the internet. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna make up some characters. Okay. So I'm gonna make up a character name. First thing that comes to my mind. Give me a name. Nah, I can't make nothing up, right? I'll just say grandpa, right? And grandson. Just pull something out, right? So here's the situation. Grandpa had a very, very sporadic incarnation. His carnation started off good, and he started to develop into a very, very outgoing, goal-orientated being. Okay. And grandpa was very great and very good at sports, and he accelerated to a level that, if this continued, he would definitely be a professional athlete. Okay. Professional athlete. That sounds kind of weird for grandpa, but yeah, I got to protect the identity of these individuals. I love them dearly. And so by this happening, grandpa was not really involved in the development and the curation of the seeds that he planted with his soulmate, his woman, his wife. He was never there for the children. And when, the cares and the wows, we talked about this last week in this pyramid system, being number one, being on top, it takes a lot of dedication, and only one person can be number one in different categories at a time. And this is infinite. We can keep creating categories with a pyramid structure, and it can only be one on top. You know what I mean? So from the pressure of this, grandpa had to make a choice. And most athletes have to make this choice. Either it's going to be your family or it's going to be your career. A lot of people go through this. And unfortunately, in the matrix system, the choice is usually for what? Wealth, right? Money. Because in your mind at that time, the more money I make, the happier my family is. You see how it is? It's real tricky with this. The more money I have, then I'll be able to take care better, provide a better life for my family. And in some cases, this is true. People who don't worship money and know how to take money and not only help others, but, make other people's lives easier. Some people get this, some people don't. I had to learn this, And so grandpa got into a very, very stressful situation in his career. And unfortunately, his professional career ended from alcohol abuse, drug abuse, and you know how it go, right? When the professional careers end and the money's not coming in, now here go the marriage, right? Y'all know how it go. You know how it go when you're not grounded in love, the love to cast out all of fear. When the shit crumbles, that bitch comes down, right? And so it came down, and grandpa had no type of bond or relationship with his children. Okay. And this just killed grandpa, because after the professional career, right? If you ain't got no relationship with your kids, you really ain't got shit, right? When it rains, it pours. And so grandpa, started abusing drugs real bad, to the point that he ended up in the valley of the shadow of death. Right? A lot of us, I've been there. A lot of times I've been what do I mean by the valley of the shadow of death? You go to a space where you either have to choose life or death. You're rock bottom. Either you want to live or you don't. Those are your choices. Flat out. And a lot of people get to the valley of the shadow of death and they hit the reset button. They just get out of here. Fuck it. I don't want to live. This is too hard. And I tell you guys this all the time. It's easy to die. What they call death, to hit that reset button and shoot out of this avatar and return, many different theories and philosophies of where we go, right? Where we go somewhere other than the body, right? And so these were the choices that grandpa had to make, and grandpa chose to live. Okay. And grandpa got his life back in order. Grandpa rehabilitated, and grandpa became a huge what's the word I want to use? He just got involved in the rehabilitation program for catching young souls coming out of prisons and coming out of broken relationships and, substance abuse. He became a huge substance abuse counselor. And, this was his life, because he had been through everything. He had experienced it. You guys know what I mean? And so grandpa was like real big, very successful at helping people to rehabilitate themselves by just using grandpa's story. You guys know what I'm saying? And because grandpa missed the development of his children's had now had children. Okay. And grandpa became very, very fond of his grandson. Spent a lot of time. The time grandpa missed with his children, right? He embedded that time, or at least this was his intent, to pick up with the grandkids, which is a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? The life is not over until the life is out of the avatar and returns back to where it be or where it go. And so grandpa put a lot of time, effort, and dedication into this young grandchild. A lot. Now, these are fictional characters, but stay with me. These are fictional characters to protect the identity of people, right? Put a lot of time and energy and watch this young child grow and develop. And, thousands of dollars were spent. And this grandchild grew up from a little lad and turned into a preteen and, went to great schools, had everything any child could ever want as far as mom in life, dad in life, grandma, grandpa. You guys know how it goes. Great life from my perspective, right? Only to go to college and just started to make decisions, started to make his or her own decisions, right? Because children turn into teens, teens turn into preteens, and into adults. You guys know how it go, right? And so, once you get to college, you're no longer under grandpa's roof. Well, you're not under your mom's roof. You have to now start to make decisions based on your journey and your life. And the grandson started making decisions that I would say at that time probably thought were the right decisions. And we've heard this story many times. Grandson's life starts to spiral out of control. And poof, 4 years go by, 4 or 5 years go by, nobody heard from grandson. Out of town, on his own, nobody heard anything. And one day, just one day, grandson shows up just out of nowhere, right? And guess who was there to catch him? Right. Almost trying to pick back up where they left off. Grandpa is there. And so grandpa, not even 4 years of nothing. Imagine that. Someone you care about, they just disappear for 4 years and just pop up. You guys with me? So grandpa is there to catch grandson. And great catch. A catch. It would have been a home run if he didn't make that catch. You guys know what I'm saying? Only to, how can I say this? Not knowing what he caught at that time. So to make this story, long story short, for the sake of the time that we have here together, grandpa didn't really know what he was catching. And he made a catch that was, what's the word I want to use? It could be very hurtful. And I witnessed this whole situation. And what I think grandpa, which is the fictional character, handled the situation very, very well. But to make a long story short, the grandson had absolutely no respect for the grandfather whatsoever. Any word you could think of was thrown at grandpa. I mean, just hurtful words, with this English language. And grandpa was only trying to help. You know what I mean? But it was never good enough in the physical. There was nothing he could do physically, no amount of money, nothing in this physical realm could sever or sustain what the grandchild needed. It was nothing in the physical realm. And the communication, got to the point where it just started to get destructive. And I was able to observe this. And once again, I duplicated this energy. This is something that I've been playing around with, where I can duplicate the energy from just either viewing it or you telling me a story or, feeling. I duplicated this energy. Okay. And I sat in this energy field because what I wanted to do is just find out, like I said earlier, how and why people respond to different circumstances, situations, and events the way that they do. And what makes them say these, what we would just call like harsh, like hateful things, And so in my time, I sat in grandpa's energy first. And that was a very painful space, I'll admit, because grandpa had to take all of these lewd and ruthless and just hateful burst of energy coming from grandson. I mean, the most hateful thing that you could say to a person. He had to experience that. And it was very painful. And I sat into that energy, until it no longer bothered me. Now just think, this energy wasn't directed at me, but by me sitting in this energy, I sat there until it no longer bothered me. And it just kept replaying. I'm gonna drive my point home. I had to do that to understand why the grandson would say these things, to pick up on grandson's energy, the hateful things that he say. When I feel them, they become a part of my energy, and then I can go into that energy that left grandson, and now I can see things from grandson's perspective and what grandson was dealing with, right? And you got to go so much higher to see this. The grandson was dealing with abandonment. Okay, abandonment. grandson felt like he had been abandoned, you know, from the family, you know, and no one, you can't tell anyone how they feel. You know what I mean? You can say over and over, well, it wasn't that, but you can't tell a person how they feel or what they feel or how they should feel. That's what he felt. And this is why he was acting or she was acting the way they were acting, right? Because they felt abandoned. And throughout all of these interactions, these verbal slurs and confrontation, whatever you want to say, it came to the point where granddad had to say, look, this isn't healthy. I can't serve you. I can't help you. And that's when that feeling of abandonment came in, which caused grandson to say these hateful things to grandpa. And I sat in that energy. This was yesterday. I sat in that energy for about 4 or 5 hours. And I just got a greater understanding of how it feels to be the feeling of you're in a universe all by yourself. And I got a greater understanding of what makes souls or individuals say what they say, you know. And it's hard to really understand this because we would just, you know, the way we were brought up, you would just say that's a bad person, you know, or you're going to go to hell and burn for that. But that's not the case, soul group. It's not the case. It's not until you can put yourself in a replica of the energy field that an individual is sitting in when these, what we say, hateful things come out of their mouths to another being. A lot of us have no idea what people are going through on a daily basis or what they're experiencing or what they perceive as lack or how they accept love or can they even receive love or give love. You guys know what I mean? So what I learned from that is that we are all in one collective consciousness, but we are all viewing what we call the life different. And we receive information different. And we express love different. And we receive love different. Right? I mean, it was wild yesterday on 11/11. Those were 2. There's more, but I'll just stop at 2. So that's how my 11/11 was. And it was very, very uplifting for me to sit in that energy. And most people wouldn't do it. And I wouldn't say I'm a special. I am who I am. And it just makes a lot more sense to me because when I talk about this incarnation, if you ever get a chance to sit down with me live and we have a conversation, I'll tell you, man, in this incarnation, oh, I had to learn everything the hard way. Now I understand it. Even in my ascension, I sometimes have to sit in energies that are not comfortable for what we call the average soul. They'll just label that that's bad, that's horrible, you know. But sometimes I have to go there to understand why people say what they say. What triggers that kind of emotion, that kind of hurt? How could you say that to you get what I'm saying? And it's not until you sit there and replicate that frequency that they're in, it just opens up a whole new timeline of events. You know, I'm not justifying hurting people or violating the free will of people, but I have more clarity on when people are in low vibrating energies, how they can be so hateful and what's driving that hate, what we would call hate towards another individual. You know what I mean? So, yeah. And there's a lot more. I want to tell another story. What are we looking like on time? Damn, I've been talking for an hour. Let me go over to the chat. It's just so much going on. Let me go over here to the chat and just look at the soul group. I want to send you guys some love. Psych Zen. What's up, fam? Psych Zen is here. Dizzy, what's up, Dizzy? Thank you for being here live. I appreciate you guys connected to this energy. We just, in chill mode today. I'm gonna open up the phone lines too for those of you who want to call in. Marcus Jackson, much love, spirit, right back to you. I like how you wrote fam, Psych Zen. You got a little swag to you now. I like that, fam. Someone is having issues with the live stream. I hope you guys can see me. I can see the live stream and I can hear the live stream. Hello, Daily Natural Living. It's great to have you here. Yvonne Allen, how are you? Great to have you here. Echo Stalker, how are you? Bolox, great to have you here. So if you have some things that you want to talk about in the chat, you can add them in the chat. Or you can call in live. I'm going to open up the phone lines. And as the calls, if you feel led to call, call. There's no pressure on the phone lines. It's just available for those of you who want to add, some of the things that you're going through. Yesterday was 11/11, and it was, I really took advantage of the 11/11. And as we're talking, my experiences were life-changing for me. And a lot of people didn't, experience their 11/11 like I did, but, and I was seeing 11/11 in 2017. I would see 11/11, like 11/11, 111, all the time. And I was so lucid that yesterday was like 11/11. And what did it mean for me? It wasn't like a ritual or anything. It just meant to me, I'm open to experience. What do you have for me? I keep seeing you. I'm open to receive any information that you want to give me right now. And that's what I got on that day. You know what I mean? So sometimes things are not packaged, the way that we talked about this, sometimes the universe don't give you things in a shiny package, but it's still vital to your ascension. All right. So, let me get some of these questions. Okay, you talk about that. Manifestation, Bolox Mage, manifestation. I could talk about it. I kind of, in the beginning of this live stream, I talked about a manifestation that my wife is working on right now, and it's gonna happen. When you're dealing with manifestation, there's a lot of different teachings on it. My teaching is I don't even call it teaching. I ain't teaching shit. You guys already know how to do this. I'm just reminding you and just giving you downloads that maybe you forgot about, or you know what I'm saying? And all of these incarnations. Xenia, I'm gonna call you right back, Xenia, because I want to finish this this question. I don't just want to leave people hanging. I do that all the time. I got a whole inbox. Why don't you ever finish answering the questions in the chat? So Zen, I'm gonna hit you right back. Okay. All right. So manifestation, the easiest way to manifest is to understand that everything that you create in this reality that you perceive as the life right now starts with thought. Okay, it's thought. And what stops a lot of manifestations is you're trying to create things physically. You're trying to physically make it happen. And that's like trying to swim upstream. Nothing is created, starts physical. It all starts in mentalism. It all starts in your imagination. So what I would recommend to make this very, very simple, right? So you can really start manifesting at the speed of thought, is to turn off all of the artificial intelligence when you want to create something. Don't have this shit on. This is tearing my energy field up right now. If this was not on, and all of us, and we're going to do this. I've seen this. We're all going to gather when I get this new land that I'm going to manifest. It's on the way right now. I can feel it. I am going to have an event where and I already saw this. I talked about it on one of the live streams where people are going to fly in and we're going to be around a nice bonfire, depending on what the weather is. And we're just going to share each other's energy without this artificial intelligence. This is cool now. This keeps us gathering. But this is, man, they spying. They trying to change. Even as we gather here, we got people harnessing our energy. You know what I mean? The end, they're harnessing our energy. When we gather in artificial intelligence, there's still energy vampires out there attaching to this and abusing this. So turn off all of the artificial intelligence, right? Go to your secret space. And why do I say secret? Because when you say that word secret, it's a secret. It automatically fires up your I might even make up a word, inquisitiveness. I don't know. Secret space. This is your space. Nobody else. You get what I'm saying? That's why I call it a secret space. Go to your secret space. Do the breathing techniques that we've been talking about for almost a year. Center and enter your, I'll just use the word, your imagination. You have to get used to being in your imagination / non-physical realm where all creation starts. It all starts in mind. And the number one distraction right now for people is the cell phone, the box, they call it the TV, and the internet. That's why you're not making, because it's just too much shit going on. It keeps your mind in a clutter when you get on the internet. It's too fast. You see what I'm saying? When we're talking about manifestation, because it's too hard for you to hold a focus on one thing because here's something else coming, you know, and you know how YouTube is set up. It's like a big ass billboard. So you see all of these different, it's just information overload. You know what I'm saying? And we are multidimensional beings, but when we're manifesting, we have to focus on what? One thing. You see the snare in the internet? You have to see the downfalls of the internet. Now, of course, without the internet, we wouldn't be here today, but we still could be here today if we master visualization and leave in the non-physical realms. We could meet up anywhere, but we have to master that, right? This is artificial intelligence. We are organic intelligence. You see what I'm saying? So I'll see people all the time in my non-physical realms, you know? So yeah, the number one thing to speed up your manifestations is to get comfortable being in your imagination. And when you're just as comfortable in your imagination, being there, right? Not giving a fuck what nobody thinks, even if you're talking to yourself in the closet, you're in your own world. You're creating, right? When your imagination becomes just as important to you, not to nobody else, to you, as this physical world, you're going to see a drastic change. You're going to see a drastic change. It is what it is. You get out of something what you put in it. There's no difference in your spiritual ascension. You have to dedicate yourself. All right. Because whatever you think, right, if you put enough energy in those thoughts, enough will and desire in those thoughts, they have to show up here. And another tip, don't wait on them. What do I mean by that? I used to do this all the time, man. And this is just, oh, don't wait on them. Create, forget about it, and keep creating. Create, forget about it, let the universe bring it here. Sometimes we'll create things, right? And then we'll just get stagnant and we're just waiting around for that thing to manifest somewhere. Create it in your imagination, see it, become it, give it the energy, and just keep creating. Don't stop building. Don't wait for something that you want to manifest to show up. Keep creating. You see what I'm saying? And what happens, you'll get into this like creation loop where shit will just be coming from everywhere, man. And this is so blissful. You get what I'm saying? Don't create something and then sit back and say, okay, I'm going to wait for this bitch. I'm waiting. I knew this didn't. You see what I'm saying? Always, ABC, always be creating. Creating is a natural thing for us. Creating is not like this strenuous thing that we make it to be. We are natural creators. We are natural thinkers. We are thought. I know they didn't brainwash us and we think that we're human beings, but we are thought. That's what we are. We are thoughts. Okay. So you have to go. That's why I said you have to get used to your natural origin, being in your imagination, being in your mind, being the thought. All right. Easiest tip you'll get for manifestations. All of the other stuff is just people making it complicated. The rituals, you know, that's the easiest way, is just spend time with yourself in your imagination and don't be afraid to just daydream and get away. That's so relaxed. Just get away. Turn this shit off. All right. So let me catch Zen. We're going to get Zen is 5 minutes. And we have to do 5 minutes because I want to get a lot of people on today. Let me see if I can get him. Let me see if I can get Zen. Whoa, that's loud. Peace and love, Zen. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Peace and love.
Okay, peace and love. You live on I'm Conscious Now. What? You got 5 minutes, brother. We got a lot of people trying to get on today. You got 5 minutes.
Okay,
Give it to
I
us.
got straight to the knowledge sharing I wanted to do.
Okay.
Some for the people, some information for the people who value more science. To the topic breathing. When we breathe, we are detoxifying our breath. The CO2 is sour, so we are breathing out sour air. We are breathing out what the body. It's basically like when a car and the smoke is coming out of the engine. It's basically the same thing. So you are cleaning your body by breathing deeply. And it's the same with the engine. You need the oxygen so your engine can work, so it can burn your nutrients. So just breathing deeply is enforcing your inner workings. You're helping your body to work optimally. That was the first thing. Balancing your pH levels.
Okay.
And to the topic of with which you started with your wife, it's very interesting how the philosophy of Carl R. Rogers is reflecting in it with therapy through speech, through talking, through authentic talking. And I wanted to give some steps. Be accepting of those emotions. Don't talk them down. Don't talk them up. It's their emotional state. So be accepting of how they are feeling right now. Be there. You did it perfectly. Embracing them and being there for them, so they don't feel that they are alone with their problems. It already helps just being there for them and support, being their support, giving some of your strength and listening to their emotions. That's the next part. This centering, when they've calmed down after you've hugged them, then go through those emotions. Just let them talk about what is going on, and through this talking process, through this conversation you're having, without judgment, you're just being there for them in this hard time. Then they can sort out their emotions by them, most of the time by themselves. It's in that moment, it's already very helpful, and every person has the potential to grow. And this potential is best utilized in this situation when you're accepting and being there for them and just giving them love. And you're giving them strength. You're being the column and just allowing them to lean on you with their pain. So, and then of course, if they need advice, you like you did, just go through with them, and something they can authentically really it should come also from themselves. So just imagine your wife isn't as spiritual, and this advice you gave to her wouldn't really vibe with her values, so she couldn't really believe in it. So it has to be authentic. but because you're in a relationship, you know what's best for her. So that's something else. Just I wanted to just point it out.
No, that's good. That's good. That's great perspective, because I'm picking up what you're saying. There's not one way to do anything. So I actually like what you're saying, because me personally, what suits me, and here's the thing, because I talk and communicate with so many souls, you know, on this journey that we're taking together, it benefits me more from preserving my energy, because I'm using my energy and I'm using their energy to just cut out. I call it the pity party. We all go through it, but I respect what you say, Jen. Zen, don't get me wrong. I cut that out because I personally, because I talk to so many people, I don't have the time and the illusion of times in to sit with someone for like 2 hours in a pity party. So from my point of view, right? And Zen is absolutely, I love the way Zen heals. Don't get me wrong. Zen lets them get it out. I understand what he's saying. But from my point of view, I don't have that time, because there's so many people, there's so many inboxes, so many, you know what I'm saying, Zen? But you're absolutely right, though. I have more time with my wife because she's here with me. But what we did yesterday was something that I usually use with people when I talk to them, and it worked for her. I didn't allow her to go into the pity party because it wouldn't serve her from my point of view at that time. And I wanted to get her centered and to get her to start creating. I understand the power of creation from that point of view. But what you're saying is a whole nother perspective, bro. And I agree with it. I agree with everything that you're saying. I can see what you're hitting at is let them get it out.
I agree that pity party isn't the best thing. It's you're enforcing the negativity, so they're just still keeping in the pity. What I meant is by being there, supporting them, it enhances the other person who is coming with the problems to reflect on their problems and find easier their own solution.
I see.
Your solution suited your wife, so it turned out well. Yeah. But what I wanted to say is everyone has their own solution is carrying in them. So to say, everyone has the perfect solution in them, and it's about helping them bring it out.
Okay, I agree on that.
And I wanted to give a quick advice for your wife, because I'm learning about healthcare. When she's exercising, she should do exercise that she feels good with. And this feel good, when she is really feeling good with what she is doing, this let's say emotional mental health it will then reflect in her physical health, because it often happens that you are exercising because you are running towards this body image and you're fighting for it, and it becomes more a tedious task that you are forcing yourself through because you want this body image, but that oftentimes comes from a place of fear. So that's not really, it's not the best solution. For some, like for me, yoga is a great way to exercise, because I don't feel stressed. It's calm, but still physically demanding. So I'm really exercising myself, but it's not like aerobics where I have to pump myself up. So I feel good with it, and this reflects in my being.
Another great point.
I wanted to share this advice.
Thank you so much. Peace of love to you, Zen. We love you so much, man. Thank you for your energy and your input. Okay, brother.
Bye.
All right, let me catch this other caller. I love you guys. You guys know that, right? I love you guys and gals.
Sorry, the number you called was busy. Please try again later.
That's the first. Caller from the 202. You up next, so you can call back now. Let me hit you one more time. I might be able to get you now. Let's see.
Sorry, the number you called was
Okay, so whoever has the 202 number, you can now call back. Phone lines open, 734, and there they are, 230-2744. So you were calling me at the same time. I might be able to get you now. Are we still playing ping pong?
sorry, the number you called.
And they call it now. Let me get them.
Call from
Gary Green.
All right, Gary.
to accept, press 1.
Playing ping pong.
Gary Green, we playing ping pong, man. Who up?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What's up, man? Peace and love to you.
All right. Yes. Good day, Derek D.
What's going on in your universe, man? I know I smell meat.
I'm well. We're gonna have to start keeping this secret. But anyway, and it's all fun. I do appreciate the conversation today, and I like to keep things simple. I like to give some takeaways. Okay.
Okay.
And so, one of the things that you highlighted is that I want to first say, because this is so important, your thoughts and your feelings are your greatest inventory. I'll say that one more time. Your thoughts and your feelings are your greatest inventory. See, we're always creating. You're creating your world. And it's what you are saying to yourself. See, a lot of people don't want to be accountable to the words that come out their mouth. But whatever you say that comes out to your mouth, you are connected to that. You're ugly, you're stupid. And so it begins with you. What are you saying to yourself? You're with yourself 24/7. So there's no reason why you cannot develop an intimate relationship with yourself. When I say intimate, I'm meaning working with each and every day, because it's a process. It is a process. And some of the things that you highlighted are true. Repetition is the key. So whatever your daily activities are, is what's going to be. And so you need to be able to sit down with yourself, write things down. There's power in writing. There's power in the pen. I would say the pencil rather, because you're always going to be changing and you want to train the mind for change. And that's why I always tell people to use a pencil. And the first thing you want to write down is, and this is the affirmation you want to say to yourself every day, in the morning and when you go to bed at night. And say it throughout the day. And do this for about a month, and it'll begin to break some of the things down. And it is, I love myself unconditionally without judgment. You have to begin to love yourself first before you love anyone else. And all this channel, all we're doing is taking you back to nature as a kid. Because these things you've done naturally. But we have learned otherwise to taught, and it's nobody's fault. Our parents didn't know, their parents, so whatever the circumstance, doesn't matter. What matters is now. And so then you have to start with 5 minutes a day. And when we talk about meditation, all it is just you being still, clearing your thoughts. And that's what you have to do. You have to train the mind to clear the thoughts first. Do that for 30 days. Just sit in it and just clear your mind. Find a space, whatever it is, 5 minutes is just clearing your mind. And breathing. Yes, breathing is definitely important. Breathing is very important. So you must learn to breathe. And you can focus at this time just breathing. That's it. 5 minutes breathing. Then for maybe a week, then you could go into 10 minutes, and then you can increase it. But you have to first learn to be still And then once you clear the mind, then you could begin to put, like I said, those things in it. You know, I love myself unconditionally without judgment. You have to do that first. And then there's an evaluation process where this is where you take in simple pencil and pad. And you write all the things you like about yourself that you can think about. I say maybe 10 to 12 things. Write it down that you like about yourself and you don't like about yourself. Now, this is an evaluation process. Now you can begin to see, okay, this is the things I don't like that I want to change, and these are the things that I want to change. And I always tell people, always focus on what you want, because you're always going to get it. Even the challenges, you're always going to get it, because guess what? Like, we go back to what we were saying. We're always creating. And it's just simple. I like to keep things simple. And it's just you spending time with you. We're trying to get you to understand how to spend time with yourself. Because once you begin to spend time with yourself and have a great relationship with yourself, then you can begin to have a relationship with others. This is where the love comes in. This is where now you loving yourself. Now you know what you don't want. And this goes back into the relationships. This helps with those relationships. Oh no, I love myself. I don't want that. Or even what you consume. Oh no. But it has to begin with you loving yourself first. And it has to be repetition. It has to be every day. And my disclaimer that I always say, if you miss a day, it may throw you off track a day, a week, a month, or maybe a year. It all is up to you. So I'm not going to take up too much time. I always like to give some giveaways, but we always got to keep this a secret, D. And this is G. I'm out. Peace.
All right, peace and love, brother. Love that, brother. Coming from Washington, D.C., Mr. Gary Green. And you'll be hearing a lot more from Brother Gary and Psych Zen. Got some amazing things coming up, and I won't even be the spoiler alert, but we love you. Thank you for attaching to the energy. I had another question coming in. If you guys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, have questions on the chat, I can only give you things from my perspective. I don't believe that there's one way to anything. It's just impossible for it to be one way in such a diverse universe that we have. Echo Stalker asked, and I missed this one. He said, "Hey Derek, what is the major differences between astral projection and lucid dreams?" And that is a great question. All right. And I'm just telling you, if you lined up 20 beings that have the ability to do both, you will probably get 15 different variations to this question, because everybody is different and everybody's perception is different. And I actually asked myself that same question, because I got to the point where I didn't know, and I'm sure this is where you are, I didn't know if I was having out-of-body experiences or lucid dreams. All right. So this is what, for my experiences, this is how I now discern the two. Okay. I'll do it this way. I'll give you an analogy of something that I experienced that simply separated both of these to give me the information, the feeling, and the frequency to discern the difference in the two. All right. So I had this experience. I had a lucid dream, right? I was in this lucid dream. Everything was lucid. And for some reason, I could probably rewind and tell the answer to this. But for some reason, when I'm in a lucid dream, I always look at my hands. It's like I do reality checks in my lucid dreams. For some reason, I'll look at my hands and I'll touch my hands to see if I can push. It's just basic stuff. It's what I learned when I first started lucid dream. Reality checks. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? So I would always do these reality checks and look at my hands and, you know, see if I can fly. That's another reality check. I'll just fly. And in this particular lucid dream, I remember I was flying and I was real high. I was real high. And for some reason, I just couldn't fly anymore. And I started falling. I was experiencing the illusion of falling because I really wasn't falling, right? And you guys know how I go. Right before I hit the ground, I woke up. Or I woke up, but what did I wake up to? I had awakened into an outer body experience, right? And that from that point on, that's how I discern the two. So I say this to say this: the easiest way to have an outer body experience is to get there coming out of a lucid dream. Now, it doesn't have to be as erratic as mine when I was falling, you know, because I was aware that I wasn't falling. It's an illusion of like you're falling, right? But actually, I was going from being lucid in what we call a dream to this space that I just like to call is in between the dream state and the outer body experience. You're right there. Your body is still asleep. You're in sleep paralysis. You have no recollection of your body. You can easily go into an outer body experience from that little space. I'll just call it a little space. And that's what I did. I'm to the point now where I don't have those vibrations like I used to. I don't even feel them. I just, like from that dream, when I can start moving again, I'm in my astral body. And the difference for me is I see more diverse beings in the astral realm. It's usually never the same. I don't know if that makes sense. I experience more. It's like in my dreams, it's like because I have control in the astral realms too. It's a feeling that you get, and it's hard sometimes to put it into words, but you'll learn how to discern the two. The astral realms is more, it's more busier. It's a lot of shit going on. You know, I experience a lot of different variations of energy outside. Here it is. I got it, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. In a lucid dream, you're experiencing your energy. I knew I would pull it up you're experiencing your energy. You are the creator in that lucid dream. That's your energy. That's your subconscious. A lot of different characters, a lot of different a lot going on, but that's your energy. That's shit that you're dealing with. Okay. In the astral realms is all kind of fucking energy out there. You get it? That's the difference. But you have to become lucid to that. You see what I'm saying? Your energy, lucid dreams, is what you're dealing with, your subconscious. Astral realm, real world. Everything. I mean, it's a lot of shit out there. All right. I hope that helped you. That's the difference. That's how I found out. Going from one into another it's just a different flow of energy, more diverse energy in the astral realms than in my lucid dreams. Okay. All right. So, okay, cool. I'm glad that helped. Yeah, it's just different energy. You'll know in the astral realms, it's a lot of different energies there. A lot of shit going on in the astral realms. A lot of different entities, beings. You know what I'm saying? Usually in your lucid dreams, you're kind of probably not on the first time, but you'll get used to your energy. You'll know your energy. You know that you're dealing with characters that you're creating, and the more advanced you get in the lucid dreams, you can start changing the dream scenes. But you can do that in the astral realms too. You can create a space in the astral realms. You could think of things and they manifest. It's just more energy, more beings. It's more diverse, I would say, for me in the astral realms. It's more of a variety of, it's just big. It seems like And the illusion of size, it just seems bigger to me. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's just me. But, you know, you ask 20 people, you'll get probably 15, 16 different analogies on that. All right. All right. All right. So I'm going to take you guys out today with a story. And I don't know why I feel led to tell you this story. Story time. So the phone lines will be off. And this story is going to be very, very deep. Deep story. I never shared this story before. But this story just popped up in my consciousness. And maybe someone will get something from this story. Maybe not. But I'm going to end with this story. It's 2:40. I'll give you the short version of this story. When I was a teenager, I was still staying in my mom's house at this time. So I must have been probably, just guessing, ballpark, 14, 15. And when I was younger, I was just, my life was music. I was a DJ, and I was very, very popular in my city of Detroit. Actually, I have trophies from I won a lot of contests from DJing, and I actually sampled one of the first sampled records in my city, and we were the first group in Detroit, Michigan. We're going back to like 1988. We got the first major record deal. A lot of things about me, you guys. I try to talk about a lot of things about me, but it's still so much in my incarnation. But my first passion was music. And the reason why I put my music kind of on the back burner now is because I understand harmony, melodies, tones, and vibrations. And I can't knowingly make low vibrating music in exchange for fiat currency. And I'll just leave it at that. It doesn't sit right with me. I can't center in a lot of the music out. Not that it's good or bad music. You like what you like. I like what I like. Hey, beautiful, you can come in. I'm just about to wrap it up. But I was gonna tell him the Leon story. Should I?
Sure.
Or should I wait?
What are you led to do?
I was telling him the story.
Okay.
My wife just walked in, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll come say hi. I won't disturb you guys today. Where
Keep coming, keep coming. He'll pop in. Let me see. You're in there now. There you are.
Hi, everyone. Just popped in to say hi. Hope you guys are having a good talk with my husband, a good show today, and feel led to tell the story. I think you should.
I like those glasses.
Thank you.
Okay, you glowing.
Thank you. I just spent some time with Mom.
Did you see your new avatar today?
I did.
That you created yesterday?
For sure I did. This morning, sitting at the table.
How did she look? Just a
She
brief.
looked wonderful. She had this very healthy frame. She had a big curly afro with a set of pearls. And I'm not trying to be graphic, but I was standing there because I'm uncomfortable in my body right now. So I was standing on pavement on the street that I grew up on, and I was just standing there, just bare with
Butt booty naked?
Yes, just
Oh.
standing there bare with a big curly afro and a set of pearls, and I can see my white teeth, and I was just looking down the street smiling.
What did you like about her body, your new body?
The healthiness of it.
Mm.
It's not necessarily the weight. Like, I just don't feel healthy, and I think she was at a healthy place in her life. Not only with her weight, she was very comfortable to stand naked on the,
that's good. Comfort.
Yeah.
And you experienced that comfort from her comfort. She was comfortable with her body.
Yes.
And that's where you want to be.
She was, and the sun was shining, and I can see the grass on each side of the sidewalk. And so yeah, I saw her today.
That's cool. And you glowing too. I can't wait to see her. Bring her here. Shoot. Bring her here.
I really
can't
loved her hair. Her afro was so big and curly, and I love pearls. And she had a set of pearls on, and I was like, wow. So
was her afro like that?
No, it was.
Let me put my hat back on. It wasn't like that.
No, so I'm glad I came in at the end when you was telling the story. Sorry I interrupt you guys, but I hope you guys are having a great show, and I love you all.
I told him your story today. You didn't mind, did you?
No,
Oh, see, I know my soul, man.
As long as it helped others, and that's what we're here to do. We're led to help and love others. I'm okay with it. So,
all right.
And I trust my husband 100%. So infinity. So,
Oh,
all right.
thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Peace and love, sister.
Love.
All right. So I'm gonna finish this this story out. I was deep involved in music at the time. Now, the reason why I'm telling this story is we are always one choice away from changing what we perceive as our lives. Just one choice away. And you could perceive that as a negative or a positive choice. You're one choice away from changing your entire life as you know it, right? Good story. And I'm gonna end in the story. This is a great story. All right. So I was a very, very popular DJ in my teens. I actually became independent at about the age of 16 from the success that we had in music. The money started coming in, and I call him my big bro. My big bro was a lot older than me, but he was like the alpha male in the group, you know, and he was a real good street guy. You know, he was a street guy, so I didn't have to be the doom and gloom street guy, as you all can see. You know, I never had to, you know, get gritty and dirty in the streets, but I grew up in the streets. I had a shield from some of my bigger brothers that, you know, I didn't have to dibble and dab in the dirty stuff, if you know what I mean. I had people that protected me, okay? But I was in the streets, but I didn't have to envelop that street mentality, that hard evil. You know, I didn't have to do that. So we were very powerful, and I had this, and I'm gonna protect this individual's name. I know I said the name already, but I don't like to violate the free will of people. But it's a very, very good story, and I learned so much from this story, and I know why this story came back up, and it's because we're only one choice away from changing our entire lives. So it was this kid that I grew up with. We went to school together, elementary school. We grew up on the same block. We stayed 3 houses on the corner on Fielding. This individual stayed on the corner house on Vassar and Fielding. We grew up together. We loved each other, you know, your childhood friends. And, you know, my life was going one way, and this particular individual's life was going another way. This individual chose the streets. I was rescued by music. So music was all I did, you know, all day, just music, right? And this particular individual became very, very passionate about crime. And this was like one of my good friends. They just made a choice to do crime, and I made a choice to do music. I didn't do any crime, you know. You know, when I was little, I stole some bubble gum from the store and stuff like that. But no big crime, little crime. But crime wasn't my passion. You know what I'm saying? And so this particular individual started robbing banks, quote unquote, without me even knowing. I'll tell you the first time when I realized it was getting serious. I was over my mom's house. I had just got back in town. And I guess the word in the neighborhood, you know, that, hey, you know, DED's back in town, you know. And I remember I was sitting at the table, and my mom and my grandma was in the physical realm at this time. I don't know, they had went somewhere. And so I kind of had the house to myself. So I was sitting at the table, and I remember the doorbell ringing and then some banging on the door, right? And so I looked out the window in the dining room. You could see who was at the front door. So I remember looking out the window, and I saw this individual, right? And this individual was just very, very nervous, pacing. So he banged on the door again, rung the doorbell, right? And so I came to the door. He said my name, DED, what's up? You know, it's like, hey, what up? You know, so I opens the door, and I let him in. And this individual was, sweating so bad. And I remember looking into this individual's eyes, and I was like, yo, what's up, bro? Why are you sweating? What's up? And he was trying to catch his breath, and he, sat down for a minute. I sit down. So, what's going on? I knew something was wrong, but I had no idea that I was about to be presented with this situation that this individual was in. So after this individual finally got his breath, he was like, dude, I just hit a lick. And I'm like, you hit a lick? What you talking about? And he zipped down his coat and had this big bag. And so he zipped down his coat, he pulled his bag out, and he dumped probably about $50,000 cash on my mom's living room floor. And then I fucking started sweating. And oh, what the fuck? You know, I like, what did you just do? And the individual said, I just hit a bank. I just robbed a bank. And the first, where did he run? To my fucking mom's house. And now, so I got this bank robber who just robbed the bank sitting on my mom's couch. I just came in from town, right? And me and this guy, we was cool like that though. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck? He was like, dude, I saw such and such. I ain't had nowhere to go. They was on me, so I came here, bro. You the only person I can really trust. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sitting there like, I don't even remember what I was thinking, but I know my thoughts were just racing. And so he was like, you need something? And this was one of the best decisions I ever made, ladies and gentlemen. He offered me some of the money. It's like, you need something, man? You know how we do. We family, man. If I eat, we all eat. I was like, no, I'm good, man. I just came back off tour. I'm good. You keep it. You keep it, you know? And so we just talked probably for about 20, 25 more minutes. And when the fucking sirens and stuff calmed down, because you could hear the sirens like from afar off. You could hear that shit. This person left. I never said nothing. Didn't tell my brother, didn't tell my mom. I didn't say a word about this. So time went on, right? And just we gonna time warp. Maybe a couple years later, this same person had a studio, a recording studio. I mean, the guy was getting money, street money, right? I don't agree with the way he was getting the money, but he was getting money. And he built this studio. And so, you know, he wanted to start his own little record label and things. So he contracted me. You know, he was, look, I'll pay you to come into the studio, set it up, do some music for one of my artists. And, you know, we agreed on the price. And I'm like, cool, because that's what I do, right? So this particular day, I had to open up the studio. I had to get there a little earlier. He gave me the keys to get things set up, to get the session going. And he was telling me, you know, the artist would be there. And he had like a little room upstairs where people could sleep. It was a nice studio. Nice studio. I'll never forget this day, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm sitting in the studio. I'm doing the music, you know, and you know, in the studio, we play the music soft through small monitors. And then we just let it bang real loud through the big speakers to see what it feels like in the clubs or in people's cars. I was doing like the final mix. And I remember all I heard was just door slamming. And like car tires burning. And so I jumped up and I went up to the door and I looked out of the peephole. Never forget this day. I saw the FBI. I saw ATF. And man, it was, ladies and gentlemen, it was probably like 30 fucking police cars in front of this studio. And I saw this big dude coming with he had something in his hand and he was running like up to the door. Now I'm looking through the peephole, right? And he was running up to the door, right? And before I could take a step back, they came through that door like boom. And the force when the door, you know, when they hit the door, it knocked me back. I tripped and I fell on the floor. And all of these freaking police officers came through the door. I'm on the floor. They had me on the ground. Get down, stay down. And they kept asking, where's such and such? Where's such and such? Right? This is an incredible story. I'm going to drive this home. And I just wouldn't say nothing. Where's such and such? Is he here? Is he there? So eventually, they handcuffed me and they took me outside and put me in the back of one of the scout cars. Now, I'm sitting in the back of the scout's car. Didn't have any idea what was going on at this particular moment because this was years later, right? And I see them walking this individual out of the studio. And as they walked the individual out of the studio, it was like a movie moment. I remember me and this individual locking eyes because I was in the back of a car and they were walking him to another car and we locked eyes. And I remember him like winking at me, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, damn. And they put him in the car and they drove off with him. Now I'm sitting in this car, I would say probably about an hour. I don't know what the fuck is going on, right? I have no idea. I got an idea. You know what I mean? I know it's some kind of crime, but this is the ATF. This is the FBI. This is some serious shit, right? So I'm sitting in the car. One of the detectives came back to the car and he opened up the door and he asked, he said, "What's your name, man?" And I told him my name. He said, He said, "You know, we know you don't have anything to do with this because we've been watching this individual for years. And what we're trying to find out is what part you play in this, because you just came out of nowhere. So I'm going to give you a chance to tell your connection to this individual, because this is our first time seeing you. You know, they've been watching in cameras. Everything is wired. Everything is tapped. Conversations. They watched this guy, right? So he said, "I'm going to show you some pictures and I want you to tell me who you see in the pictures," right? So he started showing me these pictures. And sure enough, man, he showed me a picture of my brother, right? And this particular individual standing in front of the same fucking house, which was my mom's house, that this particular individual ran to after he robbed the bank 2 years ago. He showed me a picture. He was like, "Who do you see in this picture?" And so I'm looking at the picture and I was like, "That looked like my brother right there, you know." He was like, "But who is this?" And I'm looking. I said, because it wasn't really clear, but I knew who it was, right? And I say, I don't know, that looked like, you know, this individual. He said, "Okay." He showed, now my heart beating, right? Because you know what I'm thinking, like, damn, I didn't call the case from something when he ran up in the house with the money, but they didn't have, this was like from a later date, right? So he showed me a whole bunch of other pictures. He showed me some pictures of these dudes, like, man, they hit so many banks. It's just crazy, right? He showed me, and I just, you know, I took the fifth. I don't know, because a lot of guys I didn't know. I didn't have to lie. I just didn't know. And so he asked me what was my affiliation with this individual, because they didn't have anything on me, right? And I said, "This individual owns a studio. I am an artist. I write and I, you know, do music and everything. I mean, what's the name of your group?" Had to tell them the group. "What do you have out?" And this. And so this went on for like another hour. And so, you know, after I was interrogated and they found out that I had nothing to do with all of these bank robberies, they let me go. Now, here's the part that hits my stomach. What did I learn from this? There were multiple times that this individual asked me to partake in some of the gatherings that they were doing. And the money at that particular time was far more superb to what I was doing at that time. And I don't know why. And I don't question why. But I never, ever decided to link up in that kind of activity. Maybe it wasn't in me, you know, maybe I'm not that type of person, you know, maybe I'm not cut out for that type of shit, you know, running up in banks and robbing people. I just never had a desire or will and desire to put people in that type of energy, to steal from people. And the reason why I'm sharing this story is, we're going to close on this, is we all have choices that we have to make in this incarnation. And so I just say, be very, very lucid and very, very aware of the choices that you're making. You always have a choice. Never get to a space where you feel like you don't have a choice. That's a part of the illusion. The illusion is, I call it the microwave effect. The microwave effect is instant gratification. Okay? If it's instant gratification, man, 9 times out of 10, it's part of the illusion, right? Anything worth having, you got to spend time and nurture it and develop it. you know, even our ascension. All right. So I just felt led to share that story. Someone that's attached to our energy field right now, I can feel it now. You have some choices that you have to make. And I'm not real big on telling people what to do or what not to do. I believe in free will. All I would say is this, right? Be very, very mindful and put a lot of thought, right? And discernment in the choices that you choose to make, because you have a choice to make. And I would just say, make the right choice for you in that moment. Peace and love, soul group. I love you. Thank you for sharing this energy with us. We're spontaneous, and I will see you when I see you. Peace.